Okay, we're going to look at the last part of the video solution for Chapter 7 review assignment, and we're looking at numbers 33 through 34. So, the first one, we're going to use literal strings and 3 substrings and 1 index of. I think I said this wrong originally, so this is what the directions should have said. 3 substring and 1 index of method to have it print Francis ran into 7 walls at the community center. And so we're going to use this print system.out.println. So the first thing we want to look at, now where can we use either a literal string, where can we use a substring or an index of? Now substring is going to produce a group of characters, index of is going to produce numbers. And so we are looking for Francis. Is Francis in one of these? Well, it happens to be in church 1. So we want to, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a substring to produce Francis. And so Francis starts at 4 in the church 1 variable in that position. And then the S of Francis is at 10. And the thing to remember in the substring is that we have to subtract 1 in the second parameter. So therefore we need to go to 11 to make it so that when we subtract 10 we go from 4 to 10. So our next thing is going to, our first print state, part of the print statement will be church1 dot substring 4 through 11. The next thing we have is a space, and I don't know if I think I did put that in there. So we have a space, and it's going to, so we're starting from right here, ran into 7 walls. None of that is a substring that we need, and then it starts with a space and ends with a space. So this is just a literal string that we're going to put in here. So the literal string starts with the space, ends with the space. It says ran into. Okay, the next thing that's going to show up is a 7. So right here. The 7 is going to be produced by this index of method because that's what index of methods return is numbers. And so we are going to use we have to use one of these index of methods to get a 7. Well, you can do it for either church 1 or church 2. If we look at church 1, a 7 uses an n. And there are no n's. This is the first n in the string. So this would be the easy one to use. I hope I used that one. Let's see if I did. I did. So we did church1.index of n will produce the 7 right here. The next thing that shows up is going to be a literal string that starts with a space and actually ends with a space because walls is a substring. So here we had a substring, and here was a literal string, and then here is the index of, and then we have a literal string right here, which is a space, because the next thing is going to be a substring right here. So this little string is going to actually be right here. I already have it. So we have to do a plus and then quotation marks. Remember to use your pluses in between each thing that's going to be joined together to make this string. So this thing right here is a space in between parentheses. The next thing is the substring to get walls. Walls, of course, is right here. Walls starts at 8. it ends at 12. The second parameter has to be subtracted by 1 to get this 12, so we're going to use 13. So we're using church2, so it's church2.substring 8, 13. The next thing that shows up is a space that begins a literal string. And the next thing that we have that needs a substring, this is our third substring, is going to be starting right here at the center. So sub is going to be right here. And so we're going to go from space through community and then space for our literal string. So we should have a space at the beginning, space at the end. The next thing is going to be the substring that gets centered. Now center, of course, is the end right here of church2. So we're going to use church2. And remember, since it goes from here to the end, we're only going to need one parameter. The parameter will be for C, and C is at 10, 25. So 25 or 24 is it? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 at the 4. So 24 is the only parameter that we need. Now, I did leave out this period. So that was bad. You could do a literal string that has the period in between the quotation marks. Alright, so that's 33. And then the last one is 4 substrings is what the directions should have said. 4 substrings and 1 index of. And no literal strings is the key operative word here. So the first thing we see is a 4. What produces a number? Index of and length. Length is too long, so we need an index of. So the first thing is what's going to produce a 4. So we go to the first, I'm just going to go to the first one, go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is a capital F. Well, that's the first capital F, so that works. Let's see if that's what I used. Yep. Church 1, index of, capital F. It looks for the capital F in church 1, produces a 4. That's that. So there's our one index of. All that means all the rest are going to be substrings. And there's going to be no literal strings. So the next thing that we have going on is we're looking for CH somewhere and with a capital C, and we see that right here. Well, fortunately, there's also a space in front of it. So that covers this space and the capital C and the H. So we can go all the way to here with the substring. And so we're going to go from let's make sure where this is at. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3. Okay, so this is at 13 for the space, and the H is in position 15. No, that's in position, yeah, it is in 15. We have to subtract 1 from the parameter, the second parameter to get 16, so we're actually going to use 16. And so there we are. Church 2, substring 13 to 16. The next thing is an A, and there's all kinds of A's, but so we want to get, is there an AN? Well, there is an AN right here. Well, is there an ANC? Well, we continue, yes. So we can go all the way to ANC right here. All the other A's don't have any N's after them except for right here. But the advantage of this one here is that it's got a third letter in the group. So we're going to go all the way from AN, all the way ANC. A starts, and this is church 1. Ours starts at 6. And it ends at 8. We have to subtract 1 from the second parameter. I've said that 1,800 times in this video, so that's something you should remember. You have to subtract 1 from the second parameter to get this correct. So we're going to go from 6 to 9 in church 1. So there we are. Then we have 2 more substrings to get. So each, we're going to use a letter. We're going to need a substring here and then a substring here. So you have to make sure that that if you're going to, well, no, I don't have to say that. So I'm just going to add those 2 right here, and you can look at those, see if you have any issues with that. But that is the end of 34, and that's the end of the Chapter 7 review. Hope this helps you as far as reviewing for the test.